Week 2, Session 2 of the Scratch Project. I'm Mr. Smith. I will be your host today. Thank you very much. Let's move on quickly here because I know this is a recording and you want to get to the good stuff. Hey, if you want to watch the video warm-ups, you can. If you want to skip through them, you can just skip right on through them. I got some plexers for you today. A couple of interesting ones. History of computers is very important. Please don't skip through that one. We'll talk about World War II. ENIAC, the computer called ENIAC, and of course the nerds. In Scratch today, we're going to actually start your game. Step 1 is creating your title page, so very exciting. And then finally, you can watch me play Kahoot, and you can pause and try to answer the questions and all that good stuff. All right, this is called When Life Gives You Lemons. Yeah, kind of dumb, but it goes with the theme of lemons. So here we go. These are babies eating lemons. A pretty good song. We'll watch it come. Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you eat lemons. It's a good lesson to be learned there. Parents, don't feed your babies lemons. That might make a little sense. But go ahead and feed your dogs lemons because it's kind of funny. It's really odd. Almost every dog in this video wants to chew the lemon, but when they get to the lemon, they let it go and then back up, and then they go back to the lemon. Yeah, don't give me that, but wait a minute, give me that. Give me the lemon. Wait, no, I changed my mind. I don't want it. Oh, no. Yeah, I like it, but wait a minute. It's doing something funny to me. Makes for a good experiment nonetheless. Oh, there was a little Shih Tzu that I wanted to take a look at there. Oh well, let's move on anyway. I'll go ahead and pause, or you can go ahead and pause and take a look at this. I'll give the answer in a second. What and must. So if you look carefully, you'll see that what is going up and must is going down, which leads us to the expression what goes up must come down. That's the answer to that one. Go ahead and pause. And this one's a really good one. It takes a little thought. Think about it, and we'll talk this through. Okay, so 1 is missing, right? And all the numbers are under the word stands. Go ahead and pause if you want to think about it some more. All right, back again. Here we go. 1 is missing, so there's no 1 under the word stands. No one understands. No one understands. I had to figure that one out myself. It took a while. All right, take a look at this one. You got the number 4 inside of the word stance. I know you figured it out. 4 in stance. 4 in stance. Now just say it fast. 4 in stance. For instance, there you go. That's how we solve this. Oh, one of my favorite ones of all time. History of computers, everybody. Here we go. This is World War II from the years 1941 to 1945, just a 4-year period. A lot happens. World War I ended in the victory over Germany, and those guys who wanted to take over the world, remember? One thing was for sure, airplanes and pilots were getting better at flying, but they still were not very good at hitting their targets. But who cares? The war to end all wars was over with, right? Wrong. Along comes this guy. This meathead named Adolf Hitler from Germany, and he decided, well, he wanted to take over the world. So here we go again. So who came along and helped save the world? The nerds. Not the knights in shining armor, the nerds, engineers and mathematicians. They needed to create something to help calculate the bomb trajectories for the airplanes. So they did. They created this thing called ENIAC. ENIAC is an acronym which stands for something. It'll come up here shortly. It was about the size of a 3-bedroom house and used tubes and transistors to do some pretty good calculations. Basically, ENIAC was a 3-bedroom house size calculator. Your calculators that you buy at Walmart or you have here at school that cost maybe $2 or $3 nowadays, they're much more powerful and faster than ENIAC was. But you have to remember, it was the first electronic computer that could do all these calculations. And if you're looking at the video, you can see all of these tubes and copper wires and old-looking things that were required to make ENIAC work. Now, the thing about those tubes is that each tube, oh, there it is, electronic numerical integrator and something or other. Each tube represented a digit or a number, and making those combinations of numbers required a lot of tubes and a lot of wires and a lot of people to run them. In order to make calculations, you had to unplug and plug in a wire into a different tube, and it was really kind of monotonous, but at the same time it was fascinating. I'm just going to zip ahead here because this video takes a kind of long time. But ENIAC still exists. I don't know if it still works or not, but it is in museums and such. The importance of it was that it was one of the first computers ever made. Once it came along, scientists wanted more. ENIAC lasted for about 5 years, maybe a year or two after the war. But there was still a problem with these big, big computers that took up houses. And that problem was, what do you do with all of the data? This is called a Movietone news clip from the past. That's how they got their news back then. You had to go to the movie theater to see the news. And you're watching some soldiers and scientists and such working ENIAC. And you can see just how time-consuming it is and how many people it took to run this big calculator. But with science and math and anything else, they try to make them bigger, or in this case, smaller and faster. So again, what do we do with all that information? How do we make it go faster? And how do we store all that information? And that's what brings us to our next historical discovery next week. Don't forget, the big year is 1976. That's what we're working towards, the big year. We're at 1945. We're getting closer. Love the history of computers. Okay, it's scratch time, everybody. Here we go. Sharing is caring. Well, we've already shared with everybody, and I can't share with you right now, but everybody did a pretty good job on the animation. Now it's time to make your title page. And this was a title page I made a couple years ago. I'm going to make a new one for you today. This is my character. His name is Mr. Wow. That's what I call him. So I just call it The Adventures of Mr. Wow. I've typed that in here. I've placed some really neat letters to make it look cool. And I've got what's called a start button. That's all you're going to do today. And I'm going to show you how to make it. This is basically the script. Or I'm sorry, these are basically all the sprites I used to make it. I made my character. I made a new sprite where I just typed, and I made a sprite of M, R, W, W, and O. That's it. And then I made a sprite start sign. And in my background, I just chose the color and I made it look really cool. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Again, it's a lot of fun and really, really easy. These are this is the script that I have in my title page because I've got some animation. And you can go ahead and use your animation from last time as your game. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is my video of Mr. Wow. And then you just click the start button to go into the game, but we're not that far yet. Basically, we're just creating the title page today. And that's me just going wow and looping it over and over again to make that annoying sound. So let's go to Scratch and let's take a look at what we can do here. I'm gonna click on my animation. And let's take a look inside so we know what we're working on. Of course, here's my animation. Good. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that. I will shrink my dude a little bit. And he goes through. Good. So really, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to a new sprite. I'm going to draw a new sprite, except I'm just going to type. And I'll click on the typewriter right here, and I'll type The Adventures of Mr. Wow #2, because this is the second time I've done it. And boom, done with that. That's taken care of. There it is. All right. I could create a new sprite with those crazy letters that I used before. Just to save time, though, I'm going to go ahead and just do, I'm going to go and select W for wow. And I'll put that in there, but I'm going to put it down here in the right-hand corner, okay? That's where it stays, that's where it belongs. There's nothing more I need to do. I don't need any scripts with these at all. So I'm going to now go to stage and I'm going to color it. The other one was red. Let's do blue this time. I'll just drop in there and make the whole thing blue. Except what I'm going to do here is down in the bottom left-hand corner where I'm scrolling, you'll see some choices. And I can click on certain backdrops. There we go. I like that. That really looks really good. Make sure you click on it to make it work. Okay, and now the last thing I'm going to do here in Sprite 3, let me go back to scripts. Sprite 3 is I'm going to draw, go to costumes. I'm going to draw a start button. So I need a rectangle. And I'm just going to simply draw the word start and make it kind of thick. Start. Start. There it is, and this will tell your player that he's got to click that to start, and hopefully they'll figure it out. Typically they do. I'll make it red. Oh, I like that. Look at that. I still have that shading going on, so it's kind of cool. All right, I just got to move it, so let me shrink it a little bit. I'm going to shrink it down, and I'll move it down to here. Start wow. All right. Now I'm going to click on my start button. And that's my title page. Doesn't that look awesome? Great. Hey, I'm going to go back to this dude and I'm going to record something. I'm going to record me going, wow. You know what? I'll say Mr. Wow. All right, that sounds good to me. All right, here we go. Allow my microphone. Mr. Wow. Now, I can actually, it's kind of cool. I can cut this. If I select that and go to edit, I can cut that out. And now my voice is, says Mr. Wow. All right. So, did he leave it at the pop? No. Let's get out of there. There. I got a pop, and I'm going to do that again. Hold on a second. Mr. Wow. Stop it. Okay, so let's delete this part, cutting that, and let's delete this part, cutting that, and I'm good. All right, there it is. Now I'm going to go to scripts. I am going to go to events, green flag. I'm going to go to sound, and I'm going to play this until it's done. I'm going to put it in a forever loop so it keeps going, and this is what it sounds like. Yeah, annoy those players. Now, one last thing. I'm going to save this. No more are we saving as W week 1 session 2 or anything. This time I just want you to call it game, or in my case, Smith game. Game, not gate. And I'm going to call this 2 because I already got one called Smith game 1. All right, saved. Let's go back to our presentation. That's it. Now, there's some extra stuff here. I want you to take a look at this. It's only take a second. It's 1 minute and 48 seconds long. So let me move ahead. We've got 2 characters here. I've got the Scratch Cat and I've got Gobbo. To show you something that'll save you some time. Maybe I've got Scratch Cat turning 15 degrees forever, so he's just on a spin, right? Okay, that's awesome. But I want Gobbo to do the same thing. So typically what I'd have to do is I'd have to go down to Gobbo, click on him, go to scripts, go to events, get the green flag, put it in, find the controls, put the forever inside, find the motions, find the 15 degrees, and put that inside the forever loop, and yada, yada, yada. But I don't have to do that. That's a lot of work. What you can do is just go to your Sprite 1, the Scratch Cat, see the script right there, grab it, and just drag it over to Gobbo's sprite down below and let go. Immediately, your script returns back to Scratch Cat, but watch this. When we go over to Gobbo, the script is there. It's already written for you and ready to go. So you can click that green flag and both of the characters will now spin at 15 degrees forever. And that is a fast way to do some scripting and some coding in your game. So try to remember that, all right? Not a lot of kids remember that. Okay, your assignment for this week is to create your title page, make it fun and attractive, save it as game or Smith game or whatever your name is, save it as that game. Okay, everybody, it's time for Kahoot. So here we go. Okay, so I'm logging into Kahoot Scratch Session 2, Week 2. Now listen, you don't have to wait for me while I'm putting all this stuff in because you've got the beauty of this being a recording. So go ahead and skip forward to the beginning of the game if you want. Same with watching the video over and over again. You don't have to watch the movies or the Plexers or anything like that. Or if you just want to review, you just go right to the lesson on Scratch. Don't wait for me, that's boring. 10 questions, here we go. Get ready, everybody. The abacus is most likely associated with what ancient civilization? Bismarck, China, Pokemon, United States. I'm gonna go with China on that one. The Babbage difference engine was built in 1976. It was not. Still, a lot of kids are getting this one wrong. 1976 is the date we're shooting for. 1855 was the correct answer on the Babbage engine. The Roman counting machine was used mostly for counting what? Candles, Kleenex, soldiers, cotton balls. Always think war. War is a great motivator for humans in terms of advancing civilizations. Horrible thing, war, but a lot of things came out of it. The astrolabe counted stars for what ancient civilization? The Bostonians, the English, the ranchers, or the Egyptians? Egyptians. Bostonians. That's a city called Boston. The army needed to hit targets, so they got nerds to create this machine. What was this machine's name? The Eatery, the Eek, the Einstein, or the ENIAC? ENIAC. World War II occurred because what country wanted to take over the world? Boston, Germany, China, or Rome? Well, that would be Germany. Germany wanted to take over the world back in the 1940s. That's the one we were talking about. Adolf Hitler. Boo. A mean man. What year is the best choice for when World War II ended? 1976? 1903, that's when the Wright brothers flew their plane. 1945 or 2016? Well, it wasn't 2 years ago. I'm going to have to go with 1945 on that one. ENIAC was a big calculator that took up as much space as a 3-bedroom house, a professional football stadium, a pair of shoes, or your pocket. 3-bedroom house. 2 more questions. ENIAC required that information be passed along through these things. Were they elephants, guys on bicycles, tubes, or calculators? The tubes. Bonus question. What is the most important date in computer history? I think that's going to be 1976, the year Star Wars came out. The original Star Wars, which you wouldn't even recognize anymore. They've chopped it up so much. Oh, you know Hollywood. That's the way Hollywood does things. All right, everybody, that's Kahoot, and that is our lesson for today. And we'll see you next time here at the Scratch Project. Of course, I'm Mr. Smith. See you later.